Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Monday. If it's your first time joining us, feel free to type in the comments or direct message me where you're coming from if you have any questions. Also, if you type mindful after the broadcast, I will put in a link that you can follow to get your free hypnotic audio on releasing limiting beliefs. And so today we are here to talk about how to create micro habits to reach desired goals quickly and easily. So it doesn't matter if you want to quit smoking, if you want to get better sleep, drop those stubborn 10 pounds, eat healthier, etc. This all kind of focuses upon that. So when we want to make change in our lives, we often speak in terms of goals, like I said. And yet goals is a fairly ambiguous kind of term. So in the book, which I have here, Tiny Habits by Dr. BJ Fogg, he speaks about instead in terms of aspirations, which are abstract ideas, outcomes, which are more measurable, and behaviors, which are actions one can take in the here and now. So Dr. Fogg's behavior model states that motivation is not the winning ticket, if you will, when it comes to long-term behavioral change, because motivation is naturally going to fluctuate. You know, we have those days, right? And so he also states that aspirations are more difficult to achieve with that, as we say in NLP, chunking things down into actionable steps, and starting very small can be the key to making those lasting, successful, long-term changes. And so, in fact, the Fogg behavior model states that there are three main ingredients in creating lasting change. And these are going to be motivation, which is something that you do need to have if you're going to have a change happen. However, it's the one that fluctuates the most. And then the other two are going to be ability and prompt. So ability sounds very simple. However, if you consider what it's like to go to, let's say, an annual medical visit and be told to simply eat healthier, and that's going to better help you manage a medical condition, shall we say, whether it be high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever it might be. Now, you might be, of course, motivated because you want to live longer and, be more active and be healthier and do the things you want to do. But if you don't cook or understand what it is to, what salt or sugar have to do with diet, etc., then you might not be very clear on how exactly to go about this. Now, of course, we all have kind of a general clue that McDonald's is not going to be the healthiest option for, your food choices there. But if you don't know actually what is or how to utilize the information on what is, then your aspiration is unlikely to be met because it's still an abstraction. So we have to have specifics, kind of like SMART goals in that sense. So a prompt, on the other hand, is what in NLP we would call kind of a trigger, okay? So it reminds you to do a specific behavior. So if you want to eat, shall we say, a healthier breakfast, no, this is already chunked down from eating healthy, and so a prompt might be something like leaving a banana and a spoon out on the counter next to your keys so that the first thing that you see in the morning is that, and it reminds you, oh, okay, open the fridge, grab the yogurt, and have the banana and the yogurt. And so this is going to be a prompt to eat healthier for most of us. And it's usually also a prompt if you're trying to save money too. So it's usually a healthier and less expensive way of taking in a healthy meal early in the morning, as opposed to kind of dashing through that drive-through on the way to work, shall we say. Now, on some days, you might notice that your motivation will be spot on, and that banana and that yogurt is like, oh, this is like my cup of tea kind of thing. And then on some days, that breakfast sandwich and home fries might seem a little bit more warm and comforting, if you will. And so that's just the nature of that motivational shift. But you also might notice that if you get into the habit with the prompt of having that yogurt and banana, after a few weeks or months, it might become such a second nature, such a habit, that you don't really even notice those drive-thrus going by anymore. And then you might find that you're starting to make healthier choices throughout the day, not just for breakfast. So see how it kind of adds up. We start tiny and then it adds up. So another example of a prompt might be something like if you wanted to get more, your aspiration was to get more daily exercise, then you might place your sneakers in front of the front door or your yoga mat in the center of the floor. So you kind of stumble upon them, shall we say. Now, what Dr. Fogg says about this is to start very small, though. That's why the book's called Tiny Habits. And so you would consider it a success just to put those sneakers on or just to stand on your yoga mat for a moment. And anything else would be kind of like extra credit. Okay? So we often start out creating our goals or our habits of like walking 10,000 steps every day or doing 75 minutes of yoga every single day. And then what happens is it's too drastic of a change. Our motivation level changes, it fluctuates, we get busy with other things, life happens, etc., etc. And then we kind of fall into that all or none kind of pit where motivation isn't high, something happens, and then maybe we fail, we don't meet our goal, shall we say, for the day, and we think, oh, well, I failed, this is it, and we completely give up kind of thing. So we want to start really small so that we can follow through on that and feel like a success too. So there's a hypnotherapist friend of mine, I love her, Karen Han, up in Chicago, and she starts out her weight loss or getting more exercise kind of clients by having them just march in front of the mirror while they're brushing their teeth, because they're starting with such a small habit and they're getting into, feeling more movement, feeling like they're exercising, etc. It's just absolutely brilliant. And so things need to be easy to achieve in the beginning. Think like 5 minutes or less. Don't start with those 10,000 steps or the 75 minutes, because that's when it's just too much. So that even when motivation is low, we're able to stay optimistic. We're able to stay energized by these little tiny habits that we're creating, and that's going to create that lasting change for us. So this exercise I'm going to talk about now is based on an exercise, I think it's page 68. In the book Tiny Habits, and I have permission to talk about this thanks to the lovely author. So this is an exercise to kind of help you with creating your tiny habits. So the first thing that they suggest doing is to write down your aspiration on a sheet of paper and then spend a few minutes and just come up with at least 10 behaviors, as in actionable steps, that would lead to you reaching your aspiration. And you can be creative here. You don't have to be totally realistic in this part. Okay, you can like brainstorm, just have fun with it. And now you're going to go back through your list that you've already created, and you're going to put a star by at least 4 or 5 of those. And these are going to be the behaviors that you feel would be highly effective. So now we're getting a little bit more realistic. Highly effective towards reaching your aspirations. Okay? So once you've done the stars by those, you're going to go back through your list of behaviors, and now you're going to circle any behaviors that you can easily get yourself to do. And this part needs to be realistic. And by easily get yourself to do, remember, if it's a goal of eating healthier, you probably want to be able to do it every day, so it becomes that actual habit. And then the final step is you're going to go back through your list and look for those behaviors that are both circled and starred. And these are what Dr. Fogg calls golden behaviors. So your golden behaviors are what you're going to actually put into practice. So to create your change, you're going to design a way to make these golden behaviors become a part of your reality. Now remember to go about it with a sense of curiosity and exploration. If one doesn't work, then experiment a little bit, move on to the next. We don't want to get into that doom or gloom, all or nothing. These are small things too. They're under 5 minutes that we want to start out with. And then, there's that extra credit state. So if you put your sneakers or your yoga mat in the middle of the floor, and then you decided, well, I've already put my sneakers on, I've already got my yoga clothes on, I'm on my mat, well, okay, maybe I'll do a couple stretches here, maybe I'll walk a little bit. That's extra credit. So you're already a success just by putting it on, and then you kind of get excited and energized by it. So I love the book Tiny Habits, and I love Dr. Fogg's work, and I wanted to share that with you. I hope this has been useful to you, and I hope you have a wonderful Mindful Monday. Thanks so much.